Actually, it's an HFD car. It's out here. One of the wreckers has a small hatchback hooked up to it, and then the other wrecker is trying to pull this pickup truck out of the ditch. So there may have been an accident here. It may have been high water. We don't know the details, but this is the kind of thing that's been popping up all over 288, northbound and southbound, even just minor fender benders, with the construction reducing the number of available lanes and the rain reducing the number of available lanes. It really does start to back things up. And this may be a difficult tow for this operator here. This truck is, looks like axle deep in the dirt and the mud of the shoulder of this entrance ramp coming into 288. So again, we don't know the details of what happened here. Obviously, they're in the cleanup phases here, but it's going to take a little while. All the main lanes are getting by, but this feeder road is blocked off, so you have to use extreme caution coming southbound on Reed Road, going southbound onto 288. When you get here, just understand that there's going to be some emergency crews going on, and what the remains of an accident that happened probably no more than half an hour ago. I mean, we were coming northbound on 288. This caught our eye. We immediately got off on Reed Road to come around and see what was going on. So they're definitely trying to get this under control, but reduce your speed. Be very careful. Give plenty of room between you and the car in front of you, because this is going to be a messy commute, guys.
Yeah, Jeff, it really is. Now, those are the usually type of fire department vehicles we see on a scene, pumper trucks and the tankers, and this is the newest fire department equipment that you will soon see at flood scenes. This is the High Water Strike Force, which they just began, and they have a number of rescue boats. This is some of the equipment they have loaded into trucks that they can deploy anywhere around the city of Houston, I guess anywhere around Harris County, wherever they're needed. Of course, the flooding, as it continues in some parts of the county in various rainstorms, the fire department needs a rapid strike force that they can get out quickly, take some inflatable boats and get them on the rivers. This was them loading that equipment in. Fire department sent us this video showing that they have a number of these boats and various pieces of equipment that can help them deploy quickly wherever the streets begin to flood or wherever neighborhoods flood in the city of Houston. So that's just part of the preparations that we have certainly seen and part of the equipment that's been purchased since Hurricane Harvey. Let's go back now to Colin and Rachel and get you an idea of what it's like on the radar this morning.
Yeah, and we're still seeing that heavy rainfall coming in. Now, it looks like they've changed this flash flood warning, Rachel. We just asked them. Looks like they're not going to include Harris County yet in the flash flood warning until that moves further in. Any more? Did they expand on that at all? It looks like they've continued it for some of our counties. There's also new rainfall totals coming in. We got to check with the LCRA as well.
And they should be updating it closer to 9:45 too. But somewhere else I wanted to check out is down closer to the coast, over towards Matagorda, and also going towards you see Freeport, as well as over towards Galveston. We are seeing some of that heavy rain, especially over Matagorda, and y'all have been seeing this rainfall too, really for the past few hours throughout this entire morning. And I also want to remind all of our coastal areas, especially along those islands, we do actually have that coastal flood advisory, and that will stay in effect too, especially during high tide.
And rip currents as well. Please be careful.
Yes.
Again, can
probably not a good idea to be out there right now.
It certainly isn't. If you are, can be life-threatening. Got to pass that along to you. All right, East Bernard, again, still seeing heavy rain sitting just south of Katy. This is now moving in towards Fulshire, Cinco Ranch area. You're not out of bounds with that as far as what I'm seeing there. Are you seeing that? What are the rainfall totals in western Harris County that you can see right there?
Looks like mainly between 1 to 1.5.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm still seeing some spots 2 to 3 across southwestern Harris County. So the heaviest of rainfall has not hit Harris County yet. That's the reason they opted not to extend the flash flood warning into southwestern Harris yet. Doesn't mean that they won't, certainly, as this heavier rain is now coming through. But I do think we're going to get a lull here before more bands swing in. But again, this is, let me put this on radar so you kind of have an idea. We've got a weak low. Envision this like a tropical system. We've got a weak low kind of right there, and what it's doing is it's pulling these rain bands in. See how it's pulling these bands up in, and so we're almost on the eastern side of this. We've seen, thankfully, no tornadic rotation yet or anything substantial to that point, but we are seeing these bands being brought in with more and more rainfall. Yeah,
you can see them all the way down still in the Gulf of Mexico, so we're going to continue to see this. And actually, if we can pull up Future Track 2, we can give people kind of a better idea of what their day is going to look like, because it does unfortunately look like this widespread rainfall will continue as we head throughout much of this morning. So expect this to continue there. And then as we push into the early afternoon, we should start to see it break up a little bit. Still going to be scattered though. So we're not going to be really out of the woods until maybe later this evening. But even then, it looks like we're still starting to see some more pop up.
Right. I think we have, it looks like future track kind of gives us a break around early afternoon, but then again, the flooding threat, the dominant flooding threat, I think kind of leaves. But then we actually have the severe storm risk later this evening. This cell that concerns me, several runs of future track has been popping up, a scattered strong to severe storm in parts of Harris or Montgomery counties. I mean, look at that. That could even be a supercell that it's trying to pop up late. Now, I think with the storms later tonight, they're going to be more hit and miss, and the storms tomorrow more hit and miss. They're not widespread flooding concerns, but they're large hail and damaging wind concerns. Maybe an isolated tornado. We're in the second level risk for severe weather tomorrow, which is not, that has nothing to do with this tropical disturbance as much as it does even more of an active jet stream pattern like what we saw the past couple of weeks. So, excuse me, past couple of months. So more active weather ahead. And then take a look on future track here as we go towards Thursday afternoon. A broken line of storms makes its way in ahead of that weak front. So a lot going on over the next couple of days here. Let's go back to radar for you again one more time. Flash flood warning continues now. This new one until, what's the latest timing on that?
That'll be until 9:45. It
9:45.
is. After that, it's possible they could expand that.
Right. I would say until 10:30 or later, probably. I know we'll have more live updates should any warnings come out for Harris County. We've got this streaming on the ticker, on the news ticker every time this comes in on air as well. And again, we'll stream and bring you the latest updates should we have more. We've got crews out in the field and we're monitoring the whole situation.
All right. Thank you, Rachel and Colin. And let's take you down to Fort Bend County, or at least close to there. Highway 59 is where we have Catherine Marchand, and she is driving along and gives us the latest on the road conditions there. It looks a little bit better than when we saw you about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, the rain is not coming down as hard, Tom, so that is the good news. We are headed on the Southwest Freeway towards Kendleton, so take a look outside here, and you can see the windshield wipers. They're still working, but they are not going quite as fast because we're not dealing with such heavy rainfall. Now, the reason that we're headed towards Kendleton is because the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office tweeted out that they were having Snake Creek out of its banks flooding main lanes there, and as we've been driving on 59, we have seen some signs alerting drivers of high water in the Kendleton area. The Sheriff's Office says that area right around Snake Creek that's out of its banks, it is passable, but they're asking people to go very slowly, and the Sheriff's Office is on scene there. So that's right around 59 and FM 2919 in Kendleton. And the Sheriff's Office had been tweeting about that since around 6 o'clock this morning. And then, of course, as you guys mentioned on air, Wharton ISD, they are canceling all of their summer school classes for June 5th. That's today. Due to this inclement weather, they've asked that any students that have been picked up by Wharton ISD buses this morning be transported back home. That's one of the signs there. High water, Kendleton, Texas, 23 miles ahead that we just passed. I don't know if you could see it from there on the right, but that is the direction that we are headed, and as soon as we get there, we'll let you know what we are seeing and if there's anything that you need to be aware of. Tom?
All right, Catherine, thank you very much for the update from there. We also have Catherine Whaley, who's updating the entire traffic picture this morning. The busiest spots, the most troubled spots in terms of high water this morning. We did see the West Loop at Highway 59 with a lot of people trying to get through, about a foot or so of water in Catherine. So where are the trouble spots right now?
Yeah, well, that is still a trouble spot for us. And our latest one, as I mentioned, put it right here on the map for you. This is over here on the I-45 northbound ramp to 610, which is partially blocked here with that right shoulder blocked due to high water sitting in that area. That's one of those usual trouble spots we see anytime a lot of rain comes down at once. Again, Spur 5 at Elgin, also a problem. And Tom, as you mentioned, that 59-610 interchange continues to be a big issue for drivers out there. In fact, that's where I really want to focus, because that's where the heaviest traffic is, not only due to that flooding, but also, of course, the lane closures there due to construction. So out to our Houston TransStar cameras. First, a look at 45, the Gulf Freeway at Howard. They moved the camera around just a bit here, but as you can see, roads are waterlogged. waterlogged and rain-soaked. So traffic still very slow in this area, having to accommodate with slower speeds on the ride-in on 45. Here is a live look at the Southwest Freeway at Bel Air, and I'm showing you this picture not because there's high water in this spot, but because traffic is backed up all the way to this location, in fact, even beyond it to the Beltway, due to that closure there near 610 and 59. So the ramp lanes connecting you from 59 onto 610, those are being affected by water on the sides of the street. So here is a look at some video that we captured of that. Just incredible video to see here. This is in that very busy zone between 59 main lanes and the 610 interchange. And what you're looking at here with that single file line of traffic is traffic trying to exit from 59 northbound coming in from the southwest side onto the 610 west loop. And that's before you split to choose between 610 southbound and 610 northbound. So water halfway up the tires in a lot of cases there with those smaller vehicles. So certainly a treacherous drive-in for drivers coming in here, and crews had blocked off the right side of that ramp lane to allow the cars to safely pass on the left. But certainly we're keeping a close eye on that, and that's what's causing all the backups that we showed you here on our Houston TransStar cameras. So back to our live cameras there at the Southwest Freeway at West Park. That's all the traffic trying to get through on 59 or trying to get onto the exit there at the ramp lane that we just showed you that video of. So definitely a huge problem for drivers coming in from the southwest side. If you can, I'd recommend using the West Park Tollway if you do have an easy tag to head through that area, or you can also use surface streets like Richmond or Westheimer, even if you do have to sit through those stoplights. So as you can see, very heavy conditions coming through this location. Also a couple other high water spots in Fort Bend County we're continuing to monitor for you. Southwest Freeway at FM 2919 in both directions, and then 59 northbound at FM 360. So those locations really taking a beating. And as you can see from the weather radar overlaid on top of our map, that rain still coming down on top of those trouble spots. So really no relief for drivers in that area. Bottom line, you just want to take it slow today, because even if you're not seeing the water collecting, you're definitely dealing with wet roadways. That increases the chances of seeing accidents and other problems on your drive around town. So slow going is the way to do it if you do have to be out and about. Tom.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. Now I'm looking at the Harris County Flood Control District's map, and it looks as though, at least at this point, all bayous and all of their channels are still within their banks this morning. That is probably the best news you can have today, because once something like that starts happening where the bayous go up above their banks, or at least get close to the top, that's when you see a lot more street flooding. A different story in Fort Bend County, where they do have some street flooding. Some people said it was approaching their houses in Wharton County, and we're keeping an eye on that. Now to the south of here, Highway 288's had some trouble spots lately. Let's go to Jeff Ealing. He's driving along there. And Jeff, what are you seeing right now?
Well, a lot of the same thing we've been showing you all morning long, Tom. Let's go ahead and get you out to what we're seeing on the roadway right now. The accident that we saw just a little while ago, I think it was maybe 15 minutes ago, we were showing you a two-car accident that was in the clearing stages. I got some information about that. According to firefighters, that is the second accident that they've seen at that exact location within about the last 45 minutes. And the reason that that is a trouble spot is because as you're coming off of the hill, the overpass off Reed Road, coming down south on 288, the water starts to collect and pond at a certain location. Drivers aren't aware of it. They don't see it. Maybe they're going too fast. They hit that water. They lose control and spin out. And this last one we showed you was a two-vehicle accident. At least one other vehicle had that same problem about half an hour before that accident started. And then before that, we actually saw a little bit further down on southbound on 288, a single vehicle accident where someone had lost control of their vehicle and slammed into construction barricades right at where the Beltway passes over 288. All of that action happening on the southbound lane. So the northbound lanes seem to be accident-free, but they're not in the clear, because we've seen on the northbound lanes in a couple of different areas high water on the entrance ramps coming into and getting onto 288, and some of the exit ramps going off of 288. That's all on the northbound side. So if 288 is in your future, either consider finding another route or understand it's going to be touch and go in some of these spots. And we're passing over Reed Road right now, headed northbound. It doesn't look like we're going to see too many problems on this section of 288. But again, as we've been speaking about all morning long, if you come this way, you know that there is a major construction project going on, major road widening effort happening from, basically Pearland all the way up to the downtown. And because of that construction, you're seeing temporary barricades put in place. Those temporary barricades might, in some areas, limit some of the drainage options that the water has. And we also saw, as you know, we showed you like around 6 o'clock, 6:30 this morning, some of the drainage, at least one drain got clogged, and it took a construction worker to get out there and to clear that. So we haven't seen a whole lot like that everywhere else that we've traveled. Anything that would take maybe 5 or 10 minutes to fix. A lot of the other things that we've been seeing are construction-related ponding on the water, on the roadway, and then, of course, the accidents. At least 3 accidents in the space of 45 minutes to an hour. I wouldn't be surprised if there's more that we just haven't seen, haven't rolled up on. We've been so concentrated around the Reed Road area. But again, we're headed northbound. We're getting closer to the 610 loop. That is a major construction area going on right there. And we were curious to see exactly what that looks like. I know that the construction area over at 59 and 610, you know, Courtney Fisher's been sending out amazing video on social media that shows just how bad that area is and how high that water is. And we were thinking maybe we might see something similar to that here at the 610 interchange with 288 north and southbound. Again, we haven't really had a good chance to go past there in the last couple of hours, so we're going to come up on that and see what we see. But other than that, the accidents and, of course, the lanes being blocked off, just go very slow and give yourself a lot of extra time this morning. I know we say that every time it rains, but there is a reason, and we've been showing you those reasons throughout the morning, Tom.
All right, Jeff Ealing, thank you. You're absolutely right. Courtney Fisher's been sending back some amazing video on the tweets, and let's go to one of those. Here's what she wrote just a short time ago. This is what it looks like when drivers turn around and go the wrong way because the water's too high. She says, police, how should people handle this? If drivers don't realize they don't feel comfortable driving through the high water, should they turn around or stay put? And look at this. You see people turning around. I'm not sure exactly what her location was there. It was 59 in the West Loop is what I'm being told. This is where Courtney was just a few minutes ago, and she brought us the pictures, or at least the scene live, with the water, as we said, almost a foot deep, and cars and trucks still trying to get through there. But again, you know, the thing is, Rachel, turn around, don't drown, but don't turn around necessarily and go against the grain of traffic, which is what people are starting to do on some of those roads where they can't get through.
Yeah, and that's a really hard call sometimes. I know we always say turn around, don't drown, and sometimes that is the best option. I would say if you do get caught, you know, and you start to see those heavier floodwaters, you do want to go ahead and try to turn around in some way. Obviously, don't. You need to make sure everybody around you is also very aware that you're going to turn around. So I'm going to show you kind of a wider view of what we have going on. So you still see that same showers and a couple of thunderstorms out there slowly pushing it off towards the northeast. And we actually do have a few different updates coming up, especially over towards Wharton County. It looks like the emergency managers were saying they are doing some water rescues for people in flooded vehicles. There's some water reported in homes in Wharton, but generally in those most flood-prone areas, and they're dealing with a lot of flooded roads over towards Wharton as well. And especially if you live in that area, I would say go ahead and stay put if you can. And also we have been seeing, you know, especially in those counties, anywhere between 5 to 10 inches of rain over the past about 3 hours there. And it does look like we do have a new flash flood warning, and it does also include the warning that we had out earlier, but it does extend down over towards Angleton, as well as down towards Palacios, up towards Fulshire, and just off to it looks like just in Missouri City. So this will go until 12:45 p.m. So that is brand new, just came out, and it was actually extended. It was smaller earlier. Now they've kind of widened it up. Now it does look like in that area between 8 to 10 inches of rain have already fallen, and they could continue to see an additional 1 to 3 inches just over the next couple of hours. So this area is what we are watching. Again, that goes all the way down towards Bay City. Just continuously have been seeing rainfall over and over towards Sweeney too. And then as we push up towards New Gulf, Needville, this does include Sienna Plantation, up towards Missouri City, and does also include the Sugar Land area over towards Rosenberg and up towards Fulshire. And you can see that heavy rainfall. It's kind of cycling, rolling through different areas in that watch box. So that is brand new. That will go until 12:45 p.m. and that's really our area of main concern right now. Now, I also want to go down to the coast because y'all have seen continuous rainfall there as well. Galveston, just some light rainfall at the moment. You can see over towards Lake Jackson and Freeport, looking at that moderate to heavy rainfall. And most of this right now just coming in as showers. There's a few embedded thunderstorms here and there, but most of it just some moderate showers, and in some areas some heavier rain showers. Now, closer to Harris County, I mean, we have seen rainfall totals over the last 6 hours. I would say between 1 to 3 inches, depending on where you are. And we all know it doesn't take much to flood some of those roads, especially as you get close to the Houston area. So that's why we are dealing with some of that flooding. Now, right now in Houston, Pasadena, over towards Jersey Village, we are looking at moderate rainfall right now. Same thing over towards Channelview, Baytown, LaPorte, and up towards the Humble area. So moderate rainfall there. It looks like we are dealing with some heavier rainfall just north of Anahuac right now. And then we also have some of that heavier rain as we push over just north of Sour Lake. So we do have some rain ongoing there, but the largest swath of rainfall is really kind of centered right over the central portions of the area, with the strongest, heaviest rainfall down over towards Wharton as well as down towards Bay City. So let's see if I can pull up how much accumulation we have seen so far really quick. So there's a kind of a look at our precipitation accumulation. So that's exactly where we are seeing that warning box around it. And yes, we do have an ongoing warning there, but we also do have this flash flood watch, and this will go through the rest of this evening to around 10 p.m. So this does include all the way, pretty much the entire area. It doesn't include Brenham or College Station, but there is some ongoing flooding over towards the College Station area. So if you are heading there, it is possible you could get into some of that flooding. But I know a lot of people probably wondering, when is this going to end? Is this going to affect my entire day? Well, here's a closer look at our future track. So you can see it's still bringing in that wide swath of rainfall through the rest of this morning. So this morning, as we push into the next few hours, it's still going to be messy. So that's the unfortunate news there. Then as we head into the afternoon, so this is at 1 p.m. That's what you are looking at. You see it trying to push east. So we could still be looking at, I would say, through around 2 to 3 p.m. this afternoon, we're still going to be looking at a large coverage of rain. But as we push into the later afternoon hours, we should start to see the coverage go down. Does that mean we are going to be free and clear? No. We're still going to see some rainfall tonight. It's just going to be more scattered than widespread. And I also do want to mention, it's not out of the question to see a strong storm as we head into the afternoon. So that's going to be a possibility. This morning, our main threat going to be that flooding threat, although an isolated weak spin up, a little spin up, cannot be ruled out, but it's not going to be highly likely. So let's go ahead and take back a look at, there we go, back at our radar. I'm trying to double check to make sure we didn't get any new information coming in. But something else we want to kind of zoom out to see, take you down into the Gulf. So you can see we do actually have more rainfall forming down there too. So that's going to continue to push up to the northeast. So even though we might get a little bit of a break in some areas, we're going to see more pushing in. So we are not going to be done for a while. And this all is from that moisture that is being pumped in from the Gulf of Mexico, from that disturbance that we had down in the tropics that actually helped to send that moisture right here into southeast Texas. So that's what's really aiding all of this rain that we are seeing right now, and what we're going to continue to see over the next few hours. I'm going to take you outside. Let's take a look at some of our tower cams. So you can see in Houston, visibility very much lowered, and that's what's going to be one of our main issues, especially if you were getting out and driving. Yes, we have the potential for some ponding and some flooding, but also as you get out the door, know that your visibility could be reduced, and which means it's definitely going to take longer for you to get from point A to point B. So take that into consideration. And now I'm going to toss it on over.
All right. Thank you, Rachel. Now, just minutes ago, the Harris County Sheriff's Department tweeted that they're also working a deadly accident scene. This is on Old Humble Road, and here's the tweet from the Sheriff's Department. They say deputies are at the scene of a major single vehicle crash. It's in the 16,000 block of Old Humble Road. One person has died, and they will bring us an update, providing us with more details from the scene once they get there. But again, there are a number of accidents that they are reporting today. Unfortunately, this is one of the deadly accidents that's been reported, this time on Humble Road. In fact, in Wharton County, they're asking you to stay home if you don't have to go anywhere today, and that's the same thing in parts of Fort Bend County, where they've gotten a lot of rain. 10 inches is the report in some parts of Wharton County and some parts of Fort Bend County, and we'll update you on the rainfall totals as well. Let's take you back down now to 288 and Jeff Ealing, who is driving along there. Give us your location. What do you see now, Jeff?
Yeah, we're coming southbound on 288 right now. We're just past SOUTHMORE. Actually, Calumet and Bend Street is the overpass we just went under. We wanted to find out what the levels were like coming underneath the 610 overpass on 288 coming northbound, and it was actually very clear. No problems getting through there at all. So we decided to come all the way up and trying to come back southbound now. So that's what we're doing. Sort of basically our med center's over off to our right as we're traveling southbound. There are exits that are closed here because of construction, and obviously we've been talking about construction all morning long. There's really very few places along 288 where you're not going to run into some form of construction. And again, that's part of the problem that we're seeing this morning with some of the slow commutes, and then you add the rain, and then we have seen at least 3 accidents. There's probably been very many more since we started working, I guess we got on this road around 4 o'clock this morning, and rain coming down very heavily at times. But most of the time, for the last couple hours, it's been what you're seeing right now, and you wouldn't think that this would be too problematic. I mean, our city is built to handle a slight amount of rain, but over long periods of time, that's when it starts to become an issue. The biggest thing that we've seen, the slowdowns that we've seen, mostly because drivers hitting spots along the road that are low-lying, that have collected water, and that's causing those drivers to spin out. Either they don't see them, or maybe they're just going too fast for the conditions, and that's causing them to either get into single or multiple car accidents. The worst one we've seen was right around Reed Road. A couple of vehicles involved in that. We have seen a couple of single vehicle accidents, so no one's really gotten injured severely, but certainly not what they wanted to do as they're coming into work this morning or headed out of town this morning. And again, as we make it through this construction zone, very close to the Med Center, we're getting very close to 610 Loop right now. We're going through without any problems, not a lot of traffic, but if you were coming through this morning, you would probably saw a lot more traffic built up because of some of those other accidents that we saw. Right now, things look pretty clear. I did put some stuff on social media, some of the high water spots that we saw, if you want to go check those out. But so far, so good coming southbound on 288. We'll let you know if we see anything else, but so far, we're looking pretty good. What you're seeing just off the distance, a little bit out of camera view right now, that is the 610 Loop. I want to see if we can find out what the situation is like coming southbound. Again, we came through here about 5 minutes ago northbound, and everything looked fine, but this is really the heart of some of the construction that's been going on here really for the last, I guess, maybe 8 or 9 months, and it's going to continue for at least that long. So as they've shifted the lanes, you used to exit off of 610 right here. You don't do that anymore. You continue to go southbound on 288. These will eventually be toll road lanes. The toll road's obviously not active at this point. And as we come through here, this is the spot that we were really most concerned about, because we have seen areas on 288 inside the loop really be affected by high water, and with the construction going on, we had anticipated maybe there'd be some issues. But as we come through this area, happy to report at this point, not a lot of problems caused by high water. It looks like the road is able to drain that off, at least for right now. Of course, the problem that we saw earlier this morning was debris, road debris and accident debris blocking some of the drains. Those got cleaned up fairly quickly. Here's the actual exit itself. You see there on the camera, the 610 going over us now as we pass on 288 underneath this construction, and it is not a problem at all. I'm looking both left and right, and there's no ponding or anything like that. So doing a pretty good job getting through here. The main issues we've seen traffic-wise have been south of this point, sort of between here and the Beltway, Tom.
Jeff Ealing, thank you very much. And as you continue to look at that Mega Doppler 13 radar, you get an idea of where those showers are headed next. It could be a very, very wet afternoon, and certainly a messy commute home this evening, Catherine, although by then we hope all of this moves out.
Yeah, seems like we just can't get a break. And I wanted to bring you an update here for those of you who are maybe getting ready to get out on the road or trying to figure out what your commute looks like as we head into the rest of the day. I did tweet out this link that has the current high water locations. That link remains active. You can always go there to check on those spots if you are traveling out and about. I've tweeted it at Catherine ABC13 to make sure that you can stay up to date for those of you who are trying to head out and about and away from your television, away from your phone. So traffic right now, if you're coming into town, still dealing with those big delays that we've been seeing across town, including high water at Spur 5 in Elgin, 59 northbound ramp to the 610 West Loop, and also 45 northbound at 610. But we do have a brand new high water spot that just came up. It's on the 610 South Loop. This is looking out to the 288 interchange. Part of the ramp here blocked with high water, so traffic struggling to get through. And I know this camera shot a little grainy, dealing with those raindrops on the camera lens as well, but there's construction in the area, and that of course is adding to delays. So a single lane blocked off in each direction here on 610 at the 288 interchange, using our Scott Street camera to look at that. The biggest area of gridlock, though, is on the Southwest Freeway coming into town. As we explained earlier, the reason for that is the closure on 59, the ramp lane connecting you to 610. Now, it is not a total closure, but several of those lanes are blocked off inbound due to water that's collected on the ramp. And that's really been the biggest issue this morning in terms of the greatest impact for the greatest number of drivers. Traffic really struggling to get through there. And even if you're not taking that ramp, just to continue on 59 really causes you trouble heading northbound. Southwest Freeway at West Park, brand new accident. This one is in the outbound lanes over on the right shoulder. Traffic is getting through, but we've seen a bit of a slip and slide out there this morning. So a reminder when we see this, just to make sure that you are using caution, giving yourself that space cushion around your car so you have time to react if anything comes up suddenly in front of you. Northbound lanes, though, still gridlocked due to the concern that we just told you about there. Let's take you to our next location, Gulf Freeway at the South Loop. Again, this area right here on that exit ramp connecting you from 45 on to 610 is typically a trouble spot that really starts to collect water when we see a lot of rain coming down. And that's what we saw earlier. Actually appears to improve just a little bit here in the last few minutes, but drivers, as you see right there, that one hitting that puddle pretty hard, having to move over to the next lane. Just make sure that you're watching your speeds as you drive through that location. Also on 45, a little closer to downtown Houston, we do have those delays into town near the 59 interchange. So a wet, sloppy drive, definitely a time where you want to take it easy, take it slow. And remember, if you do encounter that standing water, especially in those low-lying areas, you want to turn around, go back the opposite direction and safely do so, because traffic will be able to get through if you head back the way that you came. Traffic right now on 45, the Gulf Freeway at the South Loop is still dealing with those delays here, and also at the exit ramp to Scott Street as well. Colin, we'll send it back over to you. I know this has been a bit of a challenging morning for drivers. I think we all want to know when this will pass through for us.
Well, and this is going to stick with us. Thank you for that great coverage there, Catherine, all morning long. I know we've been going for a while here, especially to the south. This is setting up as a pretty decent flooding event along and south of I-10. If you're north of I-10, a little bit less for you, but have some updates. We're not done yet. Things are just getting started. So I don't want us to get lulled to sleep here. Now, as the low, which is centered just west of Fulshire, tracks north and east, we will see this activity generally try to clear out towards the east. But we actually don't want total clearing this afternoon, because that could make way for some strong to severe thunderstorms. All right, let me give you this update. Just got word in from the National Weather Service on the new flash flood warning. So new flash flood warning issued at 9:49, just a little over 15 minutes ago, excuse me. It's issued for this polygon now that you can see in the green there. You are now in the flash flood warning. So they've kept this just right on the Harris County line. They've not issued it for Harris yet. As soon as they do, which they may within the next hour or so, we'll see. As soon as they do, you'd get those alerts on your phone, those really loud buzzing alerts that you can't turn off. That's what you would get. The government alerts, the flash flood warning can't be turned off, I don't believe. Flash flood warning for eastern central Colorado County, southeastern Austin County, southeastern Jackson County, western Brazoria County, and parts of Matagorda County. That goes all the way until 12:45, so that's going to be almost 3 hours from now. The cities affected: Missouri City, Rosenberg, Stafford, Sugar Land. I'm looking down even towards Bay City, El Campo, Wharton, East Bernard. You're in this, and a little under 400,000 people affected by that latest flash flood warning. That's why we're staying on this stream. That's why we're bringing you this coverage, because the people in these areas who maybe they've lost power, or they don't have access to a TV, or they're going mobile right now on the app or on Facebook, this is the best way to get that information out to them now. All right, so I also want to show you we are picking up a little bit of rotation in some of these storms just north of East Bernard, just northeast of Wharton. Some of these cells are starting to exhibit a little rotation that's getting down to the mid-levels, still not to the low levels yet, but we have to watch that closely. Again, brief spin-up tornadoes can't be ruled out. Also just got a report in Fort Bend County, okay, in the last 6 hours. So this rain from this morning looks like near the Brazos River at FM 1489. If you're near the Brazos River in Fort Bend County. This is important for you. It looks like just under 6 inches of rain has fallen so far this morning. So that's a lot. So that's what we're saying. 3 to 6 widespread inches of rain, isolated amounts up to 10, which is what we've seen in some spots down closer to Wharton. Let's zoom in closer to the metro. Heavy rain now continuing over, looks like NRG, up towards the South Loop. And certainly Courtney Fisher, again, she posted that photo, or that video rather, on Twitter earlier and on Facebook, I believe, down near the Southwest Freeway and the West Loop. Again, that heavy water. Low spots certainly going to be in jeopardy. You're looking over downtown now, still some heavy rain falling from the zoo and the medical center up towards River Oaks, Kirby, Westheimer, the Galleria, still seeing that rain. That is not included in the flash flood warning. Nothing in Harris County just yet, but still watching this closely as this rain continues to come down. What I want to do also is we'll take a look at future track in just a second. Let's go to the flood risk. Again, the flood risk issued by the Weather Prediction Center. Again, they're usually pretty careful with this, and so they're pretty. You don't see many high risk flash flood days out of them, and so they did go ahead and pull the trigger on issuing that today. So again, we have to respect that. The Weather Prediction Center issuing a high risk for flash flooding today. That's a serious situation. We want to see if that does pan out. At this point, the good news is I don't think it's as much of an issue at the moment. Doesn't mean it won't be, but it is something to watch. Okay, I want to get to some of your comments here because I know you guys are, I'm just now pulling you guys back up, and we did a lot of traffic there and we saw a lot of updates. Now I want to get to some of your questions as well. Aaron says the tie is off. It's getting serious. Yeah, we respect this situation. Flash flood warning, so the tie is off. We'll keep it there for right now. Does anyone know how Bel Air and Gessner is looking? Again, low water spots. You're definitely low water spots that are low and do really fall prey to quick hitting rainfall. You're going to have to watch, I do think, Bel Air and Meyerland within the next hour to 2 hours if we still see the steady rainfall. Again, right now it's falling about 1 to 2 inches per hour in those spots. Added up 3-4 hours, you're getting closer to 4 to 5 inches, which is what we're seeing. Spring, Carla, just moderate rain right now for you. Nothing too crazy for spring, thank goodness. We do need the rain, just not all at once. Can I change the radar and move all the colors to Louisiana? Ben, I haven't heard that question before. No, I wish I could. I cannot move this data to Louisiana. Let's see. Wondering about the Humble area. Right now you're good, just moderate rainfall for you as well. That was for Angela. Hopefully you're still on, you're able to see that. Are you guys still getting sound? David's just commented sound. Hope you're getting sound. Seems like it's coming through on our end. Things look good on our end. Is Katie out of the woods? Jacob? I don't think so. You see this heavy rainfall just to the south and to the west of you. It just has not gotten around to hitting you just yet, which is okay. It looks like now a more moderate band of rainfall over Cinco Ranch and right up over Grand Parkway there, over heavily populated areas just south of Katy. But again, this is going to continue to spin right around Wallace, where that low is, and that should start to track northeast. But I think more rain is headed for Katy here soon. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Good on the sound. All right. Let's see. I am in Greens Point, but have family in Bel Air and Gessner that have to drive home today. Yeah, later tonight looks a little bit better. And again, we'll check back in on traffic, and I'll see what Catherine is saying with some of those low spots as well. We just want to keep this up and streaming for you guys who are on here right now. Again, react to this post if you're here, just so we have your reaction on there. However you want to, whatever you want to do, however you feel about reacting to this. You can be, I don't like the angry face, but that's up to you. What about Ella in Beltway 8? That's a good question. And look, a lot of Beltway 8 has seen moderate rainfall, but nothing too crazy yet. I do want to bring your attention down towards Hobby Airport. Looks like now some more moderate to heavy rainfall is falling down near Hobby. Let's ping up some of the numbers here in terms of how much rainfall that could be. That is not from the last scan. Let's go to the last scan on Megadoppler 13 HD, which comes in every 20 seconds. So that one just came through at 10:11 and 40 seconds after 10:11, about an inch per hour. So it's still just not that heavy. But again, radar estimates have been lower by about 2/3. So I would say that's closer to 1.5 inches per hour right there over Hobby Airport. Let's see. Debating to travel back home from New Orleans. Sandra, I would wait a day. I would wait a day if you could, and you know, one more day in New Orleans in the French Quarter, that wouldn't hurt, right? All right, I'll stop there. Turn around and don't drown, Ray. You're exactly right. That's where we're at right now. Again, parts of the metro, low spots certainly going to be in jeopardy. Spots that are a little further up, you're going to be okay at this point. 290 in Little York, Jesla, take it okay. I'm not seeing trouble at this point. Let's see. Chances are slim to none. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, if you guys are traveling in these spots, please be careful. Liberty and Dayton going to get 8 to 10 inches. I'm seeing a question about that. Hard pressed to tell at this point. I can't. Liberty seems a little far north. Again, I think the main spots where we're going to see the heaviest rainfall are going to be in between where we're seeing it now and down towards the coast. So in between those parallel lines that I've drawn up there, that's kind of the area I'm watching right now. I work downtown off Allen Parkway. How are the roads to Richmond and Rosenberg? Not bad at the moment, but again, all it takes is a little street flooding, and you have spots even like Westheimer, Allen Parkway, or Memorial that start to see ponding on the roads. So you want to be careful with that. Let's check back in with Catherine Whaley on the roads. Is there anything you're seeing? I'm getting a lot of questions about like the Bel Air area.
Yeah.
What are you seeing?
Well, Colin, we're definitely seeing the roadways there still being rain-soaked. No reports of high water in that area, but that can change incredibly quickly. So my word to you is just to make sure that you're planning for that extra time to go a different route if you normally travel in those locations. A lot of heavy rainfall in that area, which is why we've kept our radar turned on top of our traffic map. So just remember to take it slow and take it easy. We are able to monitor cameras real time on our freeway lanes across town. In fact, we have over 1,000 cameras out there on our freeways to monitor those trouble spots. So we're focusing on that right now and giving you a look at those high impact areas where traffic is really still very slow due to closures because of water spots. A couple of improvements, though, as we mentioned earlier, that 45 north at I-10 has improved. And now what we just reported about an hour ago, the 45 northbound ramp to the 610 South Loop, where we had high water collecting there, that is now clear. So those lanes are back open and moving. However, it is still very slick. Spur 5 at Elgin, still an issue, and also 59, the northbound ramp to the 610 West Loop. That continues to be our biggest problem. But let me take you outside, give you a live look from our Houston TransStar cameras, not only at the high water spots, but also some accidents out there. This is the Hardy Toll Road inbound at the South Toll Plaza. So traffic just south of the split with 45 is going to have to navigate around this trouble spot. It is in the process of clearing right now, but just a reminder that the roads are a slip and slide. Not sure if this accident was in fact weather related, but anytime you get water into the mix, definitely see the increased chances of seeing accidents. And of course, it can be especially tricky getting around those stopped cars when you do see wet roads and the flashing lights. 45 north at Parker, I wanted to show you this area because this is one of those notorious trouble spots for flooding. And this morning, we're just not seeing it, which is certainly some great news. That doesn't mean that we are out of the woods, of course, because more rainfall is coming and the water in the roads still definitely a problem here in terms of slick conditions on the ride into town from the north side. So you'll want to take it slow and ride in carefully this morning. Here on the Gulf Freeway at Scott Street, still some heavy traffic in both directions. But as I mentioned earlier, that trouble spot there near the 610 and 45 interchange has finally cleared. It was affecting mostly the shoulder lane, but also it crept into the driving lane as well. And that's what it slowed you down on your ride in toward the interchange near 610 for those of you may be heading toward the Galleria area. And there is that trouble spot right here. Traffic still able to get through. You can still see a little bit of high water there on the left side of the freeway, but traffic managing to continue on 45 without any delays, and now on to 610 without any delays either. We're still monitoring delays, though, near the 610 interchange and 288. And I want to give you a live look at your drive in that area. Jeff Ealing was reporting from that spot. 288, just a huge mess whenever it rains. Unfortunately, not only because we see so much traffic there, but also because we've got so much road work in that area. So you can see just how wet it is in that area. They are looking out outside the windshield. You can see the rain continuing to drop in that spot. So this is a location where we are prone to flooding, of course, near the interchange. So if you're coming through that area, just remember that you could suddenly see high water develop very quickly. Be prepared to go a different direction or to merge lanes, and do so carefully because those roads are slick. You don't want to be changing lanes at a high rate of speed. And again, as we mentioned earlier with those 288 toll projects, Jeff did a great job of explaining that. There is a ton of road work going on all the way from downtown Houston south into Brazoria County along 288 due to all of that road work. And in fact, earlier this morning, we saw some of the drains clogged up there with some debris. I'm not sure exactly where the debris came from, but that's been a problem over and over again on 288 while this project has been ongoing. Let's bring you back to our live cameras here from TransStar and give you a live look at the Southwest Freeway at Harwin. Slow going on the ride in. You're actually looking at outbound lanes right here, but those inbound lanes particularly slow. And you see the brake lights as you approach the 610-59 interchange. That's where we still have one lane able to get through, but the rest of the lanes blocked off on the ramp connecting you northbound from 59 onto 610. So that spot, definitely a trouble spot we've seen all morning long. Thankfully, though, for drivers trying to continue on 59 heading toward downtown Houston to the Greenway area, you are not affected by that closure in the sense that you're still able to get through, but getting through takes you a lot longer because you've got so much backup as a result of all those cars trying to take a different route and to go on the 59 main lanes. It is slow going in that spot. Traffic also very slow in Fort Bend County, which is where I want to take you next. Southwest Freeway northbound at FM 360. Traffic there blocked off partially due to high water in that spot. Also trouble getting through northbound and southbound at 2919. And in addition, in Fort Bend County, the southbound exit off of 59 onto ILIB, that is now blocked off as well due to high water. Just got that from the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office. So a reminder that we're just not done with this yet. You'll definitely want to make plans if you can to reschedule plans to be out and about. And if you must drive, just make sure to take it easy and take it slow. And Colin, I know you're continuing to monitor the radar, monitor our forecast. And of course, this is just a big mess and people are just kind of tired of it at this point, I think.
I think this kind of is that exact deal, Catherine. Thank you. Yeah, I'm watching some of your comments. Thank you for those of you still with us. There's still a lot of you with us sticking to the live stream here, not only on Facebook here, but also on digital. Probably about 1,000 combined still on here, and we've been on here a while. Again, this is kind of a slower moving event. In some spots, it's come down in a hurry. In some spots, it hasn't. So downtown and in Harris County, it certainly has not. It's taken a while, but I still think since we're going to see more and more rainfall, it's important that we're on here. I've got a lot of questions about Rosenberg and Richmond. I did not forget you. I'm sorry. We're going to zoom in. I've got a lot of spots to talk about. It's going to end here pretty soon for you. And I really think that once this back end of this does move to the east and northeast, we will clear out. So Rosenberg and Richmond, still some moderate to heavy rainfall for you, but then we'll see a little bit more. All right, I promised future track. Let's show you that. Those of you who've been sticking around for a while, you at least deserve to get a little future track, right? See a little bit of that. It's what everyone wants to see. So we'll take a look at two different models. This is what's called the NAM. This is the high resolution rapid refresh, or the HER model, to those of you who are weather weenies out there. The HER model shows rain sticking around and then pushing east generally. And I've spoken with Travis and David, and they agree with this in concert pretty much. It does look like this will push east. It looks like 1 or 2 o'clock. The timing's pretty good. But then notice we still have some remaining thunderstorms right along the coast there. We're talking Brazoria, maybe coastal Galveston and Chambers counties towards the Bolivar Peninsula, up towards Winnie and Beaumont. And then I don't want us to lose sight of the fact that around later this evening, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, we could have a few cells. There it is again, popping up in the heat of the afternoon after we recover in the evening. Take a look at this cell. Perhaps a strong to severe thunderstorm can't be ruled out. We do have that risk in play too. So apart from just this tropical rain, we've also got severe storm risk, not only tonight, but also tomorrow, level 2 risk for strong to severe storms. So this is one I want to watch potentially tonight. Could we have an isolated cell that produces hail or damaging winds? It's certainly possible. So want to watch that closely. Dustin, thank you for that. Pocket square is fire. I appreciate that. This is what I call the Steve Harvey pocket square game. Have you ever seen? He's so good with his pocket squares. Trying to take note about that. The HER has done a very good job, so that's the HER. Those of you still watching, I want to take a look at another model, the NAM 3 kilometer. This is another high-resolution model, and this one shows things still sticking around. It looks like a little bit later, 3, 4 o'clock, and then isolated cells as far as later tonight, really not affecting the metro. So that's where the models differ a little bit. The HER showing isolated storms popping up over the metro again late tonight, and the NAM 3 kilometer model not showing that at all. But take a look at Thursday, another burst, and this is not tropical rain. What this is a jet stream enforced system that pushes through with a weak front on Thursday night. So a weak line of storms that tries to kind of move through, but probably dissipates as it moves through, something we've seen before. But we are in the second level risk for severe weather, the slight risk, so we'll have to keep watching that. I want to go back to radar and show you that flash flood warning again as well. How's I-10 and Highway 6? So we're looking back towards the Katy Freeway, and I want to look towards the Beltway and also the West Loop. Still seeing moderate to heavy rainfall coming down over the West Loop just now over towards Bissonnette, and spots that do low-lying spots that flood pretty easily. Bel Air Boulevard, West Park, please be careful. Westheimer and Richmond, if you live in and around the Galleria, I know in towards those areas, in Kirby and River Oaks, it doesn't take too much rain to start to see problems on some of those low areas, and some of the roads are pretty bumpy there. So please be careful if you're driving in those spots. Certainly drive slower. There's no reason to cause more issues for yourself if you have to go through some of those spots. Do I know if downtown is accessible? It should be. Courtney, depends on where you're coming from. It should be from what I'm seeing right now. Thank you, Jessica. Let's see. Looks like north of I-10 and 290. Larry, some info would be great. I'm coming for you. North of the Katy Freeway and the Northwest Freeway, north of I-10 and 290. I'm not sure exactly where you are, but it looks like moderate rainfall all in this area, all up to our north and west. We're talking Cypress. We're talking up towards let's see, Jersey Village, Hockley. I know some nice golf courses in that area. Black Horse up there, still some moderate rain falling there. Highland Heights down towards the Houston Heights, still seeing moderate rain falling. And it now looks like heavier rain moving over downtown. Given what I'm seeing, down towards the University of Houston area, down towards the medical center. So again, we're still seeing, it looks like more heavy rainfall moving in over downtown right now. Let me look at some of the rainfall totals right now from the Harris County Flood Control District. Again, you can Google this yourself as well and see they have pretty live updates. And I'm now seeing totals up closer to 3 inches. So there you go. It verified already our forecast of 3 to 6 inches, widespread, isolated amounts higher than 10 inches. Already seeing spots up near 3 inches right near downtown. Looks like Buffalo Bayou at Shepherd. Again, a very busy intersection. Those of you who live right near there, I know I'm always stuck at that light, it seems like. Up near Shepherd and Allen Parkway, right near Buffalo Bayou, just under 3 inches of rain have fallen so far. That came in from gauge 2240. Just under 2.5 inches right north of downtown. Again, more rain coming through. Could get 5 inches when all is said and done, maybe more. Down near Braze Bayou, I have anywhere from 1.8 to 2.48 inches. I'm seeing almost 3 inches. It looks along, let me zoom in here, just south of the Med Center. So just under 3 inches. Looks like the Med Center, Herman Park, south of you. And so certainly more heavy rainfall coming down now. And it looks like things have really picked up here, what you're seeing from Megadoppler 13 HD. Again, these scans coming through every 20 seconds. So you're getting live updates there on radar 3 times per minute. That last radar skit came through, and we've got a new one coming through in about 5 seconds here. And it'll come through, and you'll get a new live update right over the University of Houston. Heavy rainfall now coming in over you. Yes, Corey Adam is replying to Samantha. Minimal tornado threat at this point. As we get closer to midday and we see more peak heating, and we see more instability, and we see more breaks in some of these storms, we could see more of a tornado threat. But so far, so good. We actually have not seen much of a tornado threat out of these, which is great news. Let's see. I've never gone there. I've worked in. Is 290 in the Beltway safe later or early this morning? Or early morning from Waco. I'm assuming you mean tomorrow morning, Teresa. I would leave tomorrow just to be safe. That's a long drive. If you do leave now, just be careful. Does Meyerland flood? Yes, Meyerland sometimes floods, Caitlin, especially the low-lying areas. It doesn't take too much rain. Let's see. Please reply on League City. Is this heavy rain headed for you? Let's zoom down to League City, and we do see bands kind of setting up south of the Gulf Freeway. And it looks like these bands are being pulled in. Again, it's almost like we're on the eastern side of a very weak tropical cyclone, if you will. So we do have bands of rain that are being pulled in on the east side or the dirty side of this. Good news so far, we have not seen severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings. But again, I am seeing this. You can see the basic spin in all of this. Right, you can see the spin right over Wharton County, and outside of the spin, you're getting bands of rain that are circling around and being pulled up in towards Houston. The good news is this whole circle of circulation of rainfall is moving northeast pretty quickly. So as that moves northeast, if you're behind that, you're going to clear with a few exceptions. So it does look like rainfall is picking up in those spots. Let me go back and try to read some of your comments as well. You're welcome. You're welcome. Manville and Alvin, still moderate rainfall for you. How's the weather in the Katy, Fulshire area? Yeah, I did want to focus on you because we had some questions earlier, and you're just north of this. Katy's really in a good spot. You're just missing out right now. So you're getting lucky here. It looks like the spin is just, do you see how it's kind of spinning just to your south and west? So that heavier rainfall has kind of missed you there. So Fulshire and Katy, just light to moderate rain for the time being. Maybe some heavier moving in later, but I think for the time being, you're going to miss out on that. Do I think the rain is going to intensify more or weaken? Well, it depends on exactly where you are. If you're northeast of Fort Bend County up towards Sugar Land, I think it's going to intensify here shortly. If you're west of Wharton, you're going to see rain drop off here soon. Let's see, Magnolia and Tomball, Larry. Okay, let's go up to Magnolia and Tomball. Looks like more moderate rainfall picking up some of these areas that are very wooded as well. Pinehurst, Decker Prairie, up towards the Woodlands, Creekside Forest Drive. Let's zoom in on Tomball, just moderate showers. Not even seeing much lightning out of this, but more moderate rainfall kind of picking up for you, but nothing crazy at the moment, which is good. Let's see, how's the weather in Baytown? Would I be able to get from the medical center to Baytown? Don't go right now. That was for Alex. Again, heavy rainfall right over Med Center out towards Baytown right now. I would wait a little while. Again, you're going to be driving through this heavy rainfall that's now picking up right over Brazewood Boulevard, over towards the Med Center U of H, Griggs Road, Lawndale Street, Clinton Drive, north of Airport Boulevard, really north of Hobby, all the way up towards downtown. Now we're starting to see more moderate to heavy rainfall fill in. What about Jersey Village? Again, I said about moderate rainfall, nothing too crazy yet, which is good. Megan, I've already addressed Rosenberg, but it's been such a long string. It's kind of hard to go back over it. Rosenberg, just some moderate rainfall. Say again, airports, you want to hear about airports or, okay, Hobby Airport, yes, still moderate rainfall. Looks like heavier rainfall going over Hobby now. Are we seeing any delays? My producers will let me know if they're seeing that. Bush Airport looks okay. But looks like, well, there you go. Okay, thank you for checking. Looks like just now a brief heavy downpour just picked up over Cypress Wood Drive. This is what's special about Megadoppler 13 HD. Coming through every 20 seconds, that's live radar. We just saw that cell go up literally a few moments ago. Let's go back. That's 1022. It looks like this cell popped up at 10:26 3 minutes ago. Look at that. You see that right over just west of Bammel, and it looks like it just fell off the radar there. So, again, you can see those updates in real time. Flash flood warning continues until 12:45. Say again. Good right now. Bush Airport, Hobby Airport is more moderate to heavy rainfall. Looks like things are looking okay at the airports right now if you have flights headed out. Jamie, I appreciate the comments. Appreciate the kind words, guys. Close to Minute Maid Park, and it's coming down heavy. Melissa, thank you for that report. Yeah, right over downtown, we're still seeing, you can see the reds there on your screen. Still some heavy rain coming through as well. Channel View area, still seeing moderate rainfall as well for spots. This is clearing out towards the east, though, so this will clear the metro towards the east, which is good news here. How about the Woodlands? Again, more moderate rainfall pushing up towards you. I do think this band will eventually be moving in your direction. What's right here will make its way up towards Montgomery County. We'll have to see if it holds together. Again, that's a more moderate band to heavy band of rainfall picking up right over downtown where it's really coming down. Still about 400 of you on here. Again, I've posted more on my pages as well, at Colin ABC 13 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me on all of those. We're also continuing the stream here, abc13.com/live, but we have more 1-minute weather updates, abc13.com/weather. And it's really easy, abc13.com/Doppler for any live radar in your area, which is nice. Also download our app, because it's not just us pushing out all these random TV apps that you hear all these different places. We actually have the ability to customize the app alerts that we send to you at or before time of an alert, and it's actually powered by the ABC television network. So it's actually a little bit better for you to download this, because we can actually, I like to be able to tell you exactly what's going on. So again, our app is helpful for that. And if you're driving, I'll just leave the sound on, listen to the audio as I'm driving in, and listen to that. All right, Pasadena, Deer Park, again, moderate rainfall for you. As of right now, still heavy rain moving through the metro. No flash flood warning yet. I'm surprised they haven't issued it in some spots, but we'll see what they do with that. Rain is just going to keep coming coming down. High rainfall totals are coming in, but we don't want to compare this to previous traumatic events, okay? High rainfall totals are coming in. This is going to be nothing like any tropical storms or hurricanes we've seen, though, okay? This is not going to be like Allison. I don't even want to mention the H word. It's not going to be like that, okay? Decent rainfall, 3 to 6 inches, isolated 10+ minor flooding in spots, but right now the bayous and the creeks are holding pretty well. Let's get a traffic update from Catherine Whaley now live. Any updates or developments? What are you seeing?
Yeah, Colin, I want to give you a bit of a break. Such great coverage right there and answering all of those questions. And for those of you driving out and about, we want to make sure that you're aware of where to check on those road closures and high water spots. We're continuously updating that list. And I tweeted out that fresh link to make sure that you can check on it no matter where you go. I tweeted that at Catherine ABC13 if you are following along. But yeah, that rain still very healthy across the Houston area, and that is contributing to the fact that we're not seeing too much improvement in the way of those spots where we've been seeing flooding. Thankfully, though, across most of our freeway lanes, we haven't seen too many new trouble spots either, at least when it comes to high water. A couple of accidents out there, and I want to get to those as well. But first, take you to those spots where we do have water collecting on the freeways. 45 northbound, the ramp to 610. That one has mostly clear, but there's still a little bit of water on the feeder road and also on the shoulder road lane connecting you between 45 northbound to 610. Spur 5 at Elgin, that low-lying area there near U of H, still have water collected in that spot, so be careful as you pass through. A couple of lanes still blocked off in that location. Then also our worst trouble spot, 59, the northbound ramp to the 610 west loop. This is a spot that's been getting a ton of attention from us lately, not only because of the water that we've seen this morning, but also because of all of the closures that are scheduled to take place starting this coming weekend and then even the following weekend as well. But for right now, the biggest concern is just getting you through that area safely if you must be out and about. And there's still closures on the ramp lane connecting you from 59 onto the 610 West Loop. Let's take you to the Southwest Freeway and Bissonnette. This is where traffic is slow in the outbound direction. There is an accident working here. We don't have it confirmed whether this is weather or water related, but definitely a reminder that the roads out here, when we see this rain coming down, it is a slip and slide. So we've had a lot of water on the roads. Definitely don't want to be hitting those puddles at a high rate of speed or passing by any of these accidents at a high rate of speed. So watch it as you drive in. Make sure that you're building an extra time to accommodate for the unexpected, because that's certainly what we are encountering this morning on that morning drive in. Driving outbound, though, you're seeing some bigger delays beginning to build as well due to that wreck in Southwest Houston. Also, the Grand Parkway at Boudreaux Road, we've got a wreck over on the right shoulder. Traffic is able to get through, but again, just a messy, sloppy drive on your far northwest side. So again, I know we had some questions there around 290 and the Beltway. This is not too far from that area, but again, rain still affecting your drive in that location. We haven't had too many reports of high water along those major freeways, but again, some of those smaller streets and low-lying roads in your neighborhood, you'll want to be especially careful and make sure that you're proceeding with caution. And if you do encounter that standing water, make sure to turn around and go back the opposite direction, because it's just very difficult to tell just how deep that water is. And you certainly don't want to get in a situation where your life is in danger or you're possibly hurting your car. On the 610 South Loop at Scott Street, this is a really tough shot to see because we have rain continuing to fall, but we're using the Scott Street camera to look down onto the 288 interchange. What you'll notice here, though, is a mess. We've got construction cones all lined out against 610 and 288, plus the flashing lights here on the right side. Traffic is getting through. They're able to use those ramp lanes. It is slow going, and we do have reports of high water in that location. Southwest Freeway at West Park. Let's take you to the big one. This is where we still have those delays continuing to grow behind the closure of the 59 ramp onto 610. That closure is there because we have water still standing in the right lanes of the ramp lane connecting you from 59 to Southwest Freeway northbound onto the 610 West Loop interchange. Huge mess in the area. It's usually congested. We're talking Galleria area traffic. And now that we're getting closer and closer to the lunch hour, we're moved on from morning traffic into that lunchtime commuter traffic that usually gets very busy in that area. So, of course, that's what's causing some additional delays now that we're seeing some more volumes out there due to that time of the day. So if you're traveling through, you still have lanes to work with. We do have one left lane open on 59 northbound to 610. Your lanes are open on 59, but it is still very slow passing through. This is where we continue to see trouble on 45, the Gulf Freeway, the South Loop. Just as soon as it seems like we're in the clear, we see that puddle form once again on the shoulder of 45 at the 610 South Loop. Traffic, as you can see, is getting through, but it's slow going on the ride in toward the Galleria area in downtown Houston. Lanes continuing on 45. You're still in the clear here, but of course, windshield wipers going. And in some of those areas where you have some water standing on the road, you can see a wake behind those cars as they drive through. Some good news here, Hardy Toll Road at the toll plaza just south of the 45 split. Traffic here is looking better now that we have this wreck out of the way. So north side drivers, even though it's not a pleasant drive, you are at least not encountering any big issues with high water there on the freeway itself. Again, those trouble spots we normally monitor on I-45 near Tidwell, near Parker, near Mount Houston. We just haven't seen big problems there this morning with high water, but of course not out of the woods yet. So we've got our eyes peeled to those locations to let you know if we do see any water collecting in those spots. Want to bring you over here to Fort Bend County, a couple of locations dealing with high water. In fact, the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office has been tweeting those out, and I've been sharing those tweets as well to let you know about those specific locations dealing with water standing in the road and the closures associated with them. Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office, they are out and about trying to make sure that residents do not drive through those high water locations. But a couple of the big ones here, northbound lanes of 59 at FM 360, then also 59 FM 2919. That is affecting both northbound and southbound lanes. At last check from Fort Bend County, the lanes are passable, but there's still some standing water in the area, so you want to make sure that you're not driving through that too quickly. You don't want to spray up, kick up that road or water off the road and spray those passengers and drivers who are passing by on either side of you. But it's an area where you could see more water collecting and where you could eventually see some closures there as well. In addition to that, Powell Point School Road off of 2919, we've got some reported flooding in that area as well. So Fort Bend County, just make sure, and as Colin was saying, the southwest side, that you are monitoring any possible issues due to the water standing on the road. And as we can see from the radar on top of the camera images here and on top of our maps, it is still seeing some rain. You're still dealing with the increased chance of flooding in that area. So you'll want to take it slow and make sure that you're building in that extra time to get around town. And if you can, just wait till later on to get out and about. And Colin, I know, of course, you're tracking everything for us. You've been so good about answering those questions. I know a lot of drivers out there want to know when they can get out of the house, when they can move. Right. And again, just the biggest advice is just to take it slowly if you do have to head out.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much as well, Catherine. Yes, out there watching things very closely again all throughout the day. I want to take the live camera now. You can see it there. There you go. Look at that. That's our Memorial camera looking down over Allen Parkway and Memorial. And again, as Catherine was saying, and great coverage all morning there, Catherine, all it takes is just a little bit of rain to cause issues on the roads. And I know, Texas drivers, when there's a little bit of rain. Okay, so we have a live cut-in coming up here soon, right? Once they go to commercial break, we'll be 3:45 away. Okay, so we'll watch that, and we'll stay on this live stream. You're not going to miss anything if you're watching on your app or digital or social media. We just have a 30-second cut-in teasing ahead to the 11 o'clock newscast. Meteorologist Rachel Breyers will take that one, and David Tillman, I know, is coming in then as well. And we'll be covering this as we go into the afternoon. I didn't have a chance to really look over that mesoscale precipitation discussion. Did you get a chance to look at that? Let's pull that up and take a look. Look at that. The LCRA in Midfield, Texas, in the last 6 hours reports 11.58 inches, so almost 12 inches of rainfall. That's a lot of rainfall there. Okay. Let's see. How's Manville? Again, moderate rainfall. Cliff, excuse me. Nothing too crazy at the moment, which is good. Telephone Road toward Gulf Freeway. How's it looking down that way? Any high waters? Catherine, Telephone Road and Gulf Freeway. Any idea?
Yeah, the only one is right.
Okay, so we'll check back in with Catherine Whaley. Okay. We'll check back in there. We also have Catherine Marchand. I want to make sure that we have her live shot. Okay, in just a moment, hopefully for the cut-in, if we could get that for the 11 o'clock cut-in, so let me know.
Colin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Catherine. Where are you exactly?
Okay, so we are in Kendleton right now, and do you know what road we're on, Mario? Oh yeah, so we tried to get, if you see the houses back behind me there, we tried Willie Milton Boulevard. Those are the houses back there. We tried to reach them, but we couldn't because the road is the water is so high on the road that we could not safely get there. So when we were driving past to try to find another way into this neighborhood, if you see that red brick house right there, we saw a family walking out of the back of that house, crossing over this stream here, because they said their home flooded inside and they could not drive out. So one of the homeowners, her brother, came out on this street that we were parked on and met up with them. And then they were carrying kids over this stream here of water, and they just got into the car and drove off. But they're telling us that a lot of the homes over here that you're seeing are dealing with flooding right now. You can actually see one of them's over there right now. I think the water is starting to come down. They said that it really started pouring around 4 a.m. By 6 a.m. they had water inside their house, and it is receding, but that is what they're dealing with right now. And you'll hear from those homeowners when we have our live newscast coming up at 11 o'clock.
All right, thank you for that, Catherine. Really good job adjusting on the fly there, right there. Look at those live shots there. And again, creeks and bayous right now are holding, but she was looking at a spot down in Fort Bend County where the rain has just come down. I had one of you ask me where the 12 inches of rainfall came down, and I wanted to get that number for you. Near Midfield at the LCRA gauge. That's the Lower Colorado River Authority at Midfield. Are we about 2 minutes away from the cut-in now? Something like that. So let me pull that up and 2:30 away. Thank you. Okay, so we have a live TV cut-in coming up in just a second. We're not letting go of the stream, so if you're watching on digital or Facebook, if you turn on ABC 13 right now, you're going to catch it at the end of this commercial break. You're going to catch, I'll be live on both of these, so you'll get to see, you get a little behind-the-scenes look when you watch this right here. Okay, so again, that was Midfield that saw since, just in the past 6 hours, so we're talking since 4 a.m., 11.58 inches. And again, I'm zooming in on where that is. It's just west of Bay City and just south of El Campo. It's right on State Highway 71. For those of you guys who know the area, it's just south, again, of El Campo. And that's a spot that's seen, it's hard to believe that, almost 12 inches of rain. Let me see if I can pull it up right here. It looks like you're getting a break now. It's north of Matagorda. So again, south of Bay City, or excuse me, just west of Bay City. I wonder if it'll show up on here. It should when we zoom in. There it is, Midfield. 11.58 inches recorded at the LCRA gauge. So a ton of rainfall. All right, one flash flood warning remaining. I'm going to get ready for the TV cut in here. So those of you joining me, I still see your comments. We're still doing it. Hang with me here. Okay. Hasn't been raining hard in our area now, Rebecca, but I assume that it will be awful tonight. I actually think tonight will be a little bit better. I think we'll start to see a few breaks in this, maybe a few stray storms. Okay, 1 minute away. This is how live TV works, folks. You're going to see it right here. This is... it's cool that we have the technology to stream to everything. So that's why you download the mobile app, you take it with you on the go. If you don't have that, you log into our Facebook page. Boom, we're right there. We send push alerts and also live on TV if you just have the TV going. You don't want to look at anything else but TV. We have a cut-in coming up. And if there's any live weather breaking information, we always cut in. So this is how it works here. 30 seconds away. Thank you. Both producers have me covered here on the floor, so we're going to do a live TV cut-in. Again, might be interesting to watch both of them at once. Some of you who are doing that. I'm watching your comments as well. You're welcome, guys. You bet. Okay. 15. All right, good morning. We're still under that flash flood watch through this evening. You're taking a live look where heavy rain is coming down right over parts of the metro Houston area. One flash flood warning continues. This goes until 12:45 for Fort Bend County. Already some spots 6 to 12 inches of rain just west of Bay City has been reported. For us in the metro, still moderate to heavy rainfall in spots. Meteorologist Rachel Briers will have much more dead ahead at 11 o'clock on the news. We'll see you then. All right, we're back live streaming now. That was quick. We're done. Okay, so about 400 of you still on here. Still a lot of you on digital on the mobile app as well. I'm watching both right here. Still a ton of you on here. You're welcome, Pamela. You're welcome, guys. I appreciate it. We're going to keep the stream going for about 6 or so more minutes, and then we have to let Rachel get ready for the 11 o'clock show. Be sure to tune in for the 11 o'clock, and also stay tuned, abc13.com/live once we hit 11 o'clock, because you'll watch the newscast, and no doubt she'll be doing a lot then. She's getting ready for her show right now. It's been a long morning. Thanks for coming in. She said she left the house around 5 this morning, Northwest Houston, and got in just after 6:30. So that's quite a drive.
Yeah, it took a while.
Yeah, no doubt a lot of you are
that rain.
Yeah, it really does. And you know, Texas drivers in Houston traffic, I love you. I do. I really do. And I'm one of you. But I know when there's a little bit of rain, man, it makes it tough. Okay. Let's see. Thank you for keeping us posted, Pamela. Your bet. And everyone have a blessed day. Hopefully, well, thank you. It sounds like we're in a service here. Thank you. Thanks for keeping us informed. Revy, you bet. I have an 11 o'clock meeting, Diane, so perfect for you. Again, no flash flood warning for the metro, and I think they're doing the right thing. The Weather Service not issuing that up further into Harris County. They're going to wait to see, but the rainfall is certainly filling up. Again, I want to read over some of those totals again. Let's zoom in down towards the metro. I'm going to take the Harris County flood warning system. We're going to zoom in on the latest rainfall totals. Again, Buffalo Bayou right near Shepherd, that intersection that gets busy right near Allen Parkway, just about 2.7 inches of rain now for that spot. So the Buffalo Bayou's holding just fine. You'll definitely see a little bit of an increase in the water levels. 2.36 inches just north of downtown. This is going to be the Buffalo Bayou at Milam Street gauge, and it looks like 2.32 inches up near White Oak Bayou at Heights Boulevard. So very densely populated areas there up in the Houston Heights. But moderate to heavy rainfall now moving north of the North Loop up towards Bush Airport. All right, before we go, I want to check back in one last time with Catherine Whaley and traffic. What are you seeing out there, Catherine, so far right now?
Yeah, Colin, thank you. Right now, of course, still dealing with all that rain coming down, as you've been mentioning. And so for the moment, we haven't seen any new high water spots across the Houston area. But with those locations you just mentioned, seeing the heavier rain, I've got my eyes peeled in those areas for any possible delays due to water collecting in those locations. So again, the usual trouble spots, the ones we've been covering for you all morning long, especially there on the southwest side of the 610 West Loop, that continues to be a problem. And I expect those delays, even though they slightly improved here over the last hour or so, I think as we get into the lunch hour, they will continue to slow down yet again. Let's give you a live look right now. The Southwest Freeway at Bissonnette. Some improvement here with that earlier wreck in the outbound direction, now clear. So I want to start with a little bit of good news in the area. Of course, don't let your guard down. Those roads are still slick, and we will continue to see conditions like this as we head throughout the afternoon. Grand Parkway at Boudreaux Road, we've got an accident over on the shoulder in this spot. Slip and slide out there this morning and into this afternoon, so make sure that you're watching your speeds. Again, this is why we want to always encourage you to check the tread on your tires, because weather conditions like this make it especially slippery when you're driving around town. Let's take you to our next location, give you a live look at the 610 South Loop. This is near Scott Street, actually looking down onto the 288 interchange. And in fact, we do have closures here along part of the feeder road where we have water standing between the 288 and 610 South Loop ramp. So traffic there, again, it is slow. So watch out for those delays. Make sure that you're using those alternate routes to get through if you normally take that ramp lane. Southwest Freeway at West Park, this has continued to be our trouble spot of the morning. And it is as we head closer and closer to later in the morning and closer to noon. Traffic here being diverted away from the 59-610 interchange because half that interchange is taken up with standing water. So not one of our usual spots, but of course a lot of construction and reconfiguring of those lanes in that area due to the massive overhaul of that interchange between 59 and 610. So as you can see, traffic there is still backed up and delayed. And those backups stretch all the way past Chimney Rock, in fact, closer to the Bissonnette location in which we saw that earlier wreck. Traffic right now barely getting through, still at a crawl. I recommend using those left lanes and getting over there as soon as you can if you're driving in and continuing on 59 heading toward downtown Houston. Let's take you to our next spot, give you a live look at conditions on the 45 the Gulf Freeway at the South Loop interchange. Again, that big puddle of water, these cars splashing right into it. Definitely want to take your speed slowly as you travel there near 610 and I-45. We're continuously updating the list of high water spots. You can find that on abc13.com. I've tweeted that out as well. And I encourage you, of course, to join us in just a few minutes here at 11 o'clock for our live newscast on television. And of course, course, we'll be back up on this broadcast, streaming digitally on our app and online as soon as weather conditions warrant it. Thanks for tuning in. Be safe, and we'll see you at 11.